Camps, field trips, and game day playdates are just a few of the extraordinary programs provided by the Lincoln Children's Museum. When you spend a day with your family at the Lincoln Children's Museum, your child's mind can explore while enjoying the many interactive exhibits they have, while keeping admission prices extremely affordable. Stop by the Lincoln Children's Museum today in downtown Lincoln, or visit them online for more information at lincolnchildrensmuseum.org.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, any news today? Anything going on? Anything?
Slow news day.
No,
all right.
Nothing to talk about? No coaches being extended? Or...
Oh, there is one, yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you hadn't heard, ladies and gentlemen, there's rumor and innuendo going around lately. Matt Rhule's been extended. You look around, what's real, what's not, what's official, what's not. We'd known for a while that they were working on a contract extension. That wasn't really breaking news, so to speak, but it's officially been announced that Matt Rhule has been, they've agreed, I should say, extended. He's been extended as Nebraska's head football coach up through the year 2032. And those last couple of years, $12.5 million, the extra years that have been added on. And if he makes the college football playoff, he gets an extra $1 million as well. So Jake said before the break, before we came on show, he goes, man, $12.5 million, I'm cool with that. 13.5 though, that's too much. That's just too much. What are your thoughts on that, Jake?
That'd be ridiculous. I can't believe that you could even approach 13, but 12.5, that sounds like reasonable.
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable there. So I'm curious, obviously, what people have to say. What are your thoughts? All right, what's your reactions to this? Let me know. Matt Rhule's been extended, obviously. I mean, you got the Penn State job that's open, and just in general, you got Florida, you got Penn State, you got LSU, you got UCLA, and I'm not going to try to name them all. I think Vatek's out there. You got a bunch more. Why are you looking at me like that? What am I missing?
Well, Oklahoma State's there. Steve Sarkisian recently has been reportedly interested in NFL jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, the big names, Florida State probably come open. It's mayhem.
So for me, here's my thoughts, and we're getting stuff from the press conference that currently is either going on or just ended. But Before we dive into all that, I want to know your thoughts. All right, what's your thoughts? What's your reactions to this? What's the text line number there, Jake?
402-464-5685.
All right, before we dive into that, it's the noon hour, and ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. The Adam Carricker Show is brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. Now with 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt-end sandwich, a biscuit burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much more. Plus, incredible size. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. All right, as the texts come in, let me know when you got something that sticks out to you, Jake. Obviously, we want to get your Jake's takes. Is it Bad News Bach or Jake's takes today? What are we going with today?
I think I'm more positive today.
Jake's takes. Yeah. All right, Jake's takes. Okay, can you just play Bad News Bach? Do you just happen to have it ready? I just like that. Get it ready. Get it ready.
It's
I throw it,
so exciting.
When I throw it to you for Jake's take, just play Bad News Bach just because I like it. I just like how it sounds, even though you're feeling more positive today. Here are my thoughts on this. It's really 3 parts. The first part is you look at the college football landscape, and we just went through a bunch of the jobs that are open. So if your head coach leaves, you are now competing with all of these other jobs trying to get a good head coaching candidate out there. So part 1 is if Matt Rhule was not the head coach for whatever reason next year, let's say he goes to Penn State, okay? All right, or whatever happens. It's going to be very challenging in the insane landscape of college football the way it is to compete with all of these other big-time universities that are also trying to find a really good coach. And it's I don't think I've ever seen a coaching, man, if you're a coach, there's a lot of opportunities right now. I don't ever think I've seen so many coaching availabilities like what's going on right now. LSU, top 5 job in America. Florida, I had somebody ask me this. Which job would you rank above the other one, LSU or Florida, Jake?
Oh, it's so hard, and you throw Penn State in there too.
Yep.
Those are 2 of the top 5 jobs I would think in college football.
But you had to pick. Somebody goes, no, Adam, pick one. I was like, Oh my gosh. So I went with LSU by a nose hair split 14 different ways was the gap in my mind. And it was mostly because you're in-state recruiting. You're recruiting with against Louisiana Tech and Tulane versus Florida. You got Miami, Florida State, UCF, now USF. That was my logic. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one over the other, who would you pick?
I've always viewed LSU in that way, but the thing is now as we're looking at it, looks like the governor's getting into the mix. I mean, it looks kind of like a mess at LSU right now. So when we just kind of step back and say an overall job, I think LSU's arguably one of the best, but I always say that with Florida and Texas and in Southern California. I mean, those are kind of the jobs I would kind of think would be the best out there. Right now, I might even lean into Penn State.
Over both those two?
I think maybe even over both those two. And the reason why Florida is dragging that, they fired like 5 coaches since Urban Meyer. They all have a little bit of success, and as soon as things aren't turning out the way they want them to, they get rid of them. Billy Napier, a little bit of a story, never really got things going there, and I was surprised how long they hung on to him. But they don't look like a team to me that's going to take a whole lot of 8-4 years.
You do realize what Penn State just did, though, right?
I do.
Okay. I mean, you make good points. For me, it's slightly LSU ahead of all those. Here's the other thing. If you listen to what's coming out of Baton Rouge about Brian Kelly being fired, you're kind of walking into a ready-made situation, because what's been reported is on major recruiting days, he was on the beach. So in other words, a lot of this roster, a lot of these things have been constructed by everybody who's currently there. Now, I don't know if you're a head coach, if you just want to walk in and Barry Switzer like you did at the Dallas Cowboys after, Jimmy Johnson left, because that wasn't the best situation, because I don't think anybody ever truly looked at him as the leader of the team, even though they won a 95 Super Bowl. I just watched this whole thing on Netflix again. That's why it's at the top of my head. But it was a ready-made situation for Switzer after Jimmy Johnson left. LSU is kind of the college football somewhat version of that. So you want to come in, you want to be the guy in charge, you want to bring in your people as well. But it's kind of like, hey, I said before the season, this is the best roster they've had in 5 years, and I stick by that. Penn State, the best roster James Franklin ever had. Roster does not automatically mean wins. My point is you've got talent there. You've got people there who've been kind of keeping things going despite what people may or may not think of their former head coach. So to me, it's very ready-made. My point is, if for some reason Matt Rhule wasn't our head coach, for whatever, he goes to Penn State, then you're competing, and I think Nebraska is one of the top jobs in the country. Does national perception agree with that? I don't know, but it's absolutely one of the top, like Matt Rhule called it, a destination job. So you'd be competing with all that. So that's part one. I don't want to spend forever on that because Matt Rhule is going to be our head coach next year unless something drastic happened. But I'm just like, okay, what if we're out there trying to compete for a head coach with everyone else, just like Penn State now has to compete? In fact, Tom Hannafin, who we brought on this show, he tweeted at me this morning. He said, hey, he made a joke. He goes, ha, you can keep him, about. And I was like, yeah, we'll take him. Good luck in your coaching search, was my response. Like, you're now competing with all these people. So good luck with your coaching search. So that's part one. Part two, all right. When it comes to Matt Rhule himself, you can ask, what has he done up to this point to earn, an extension? First of all, let me be clear. I think this needed to happen because otherwise Penn State was still the favorite to go to be Penn State's next head coach. If you didn't know that, he was still the favorite, like 35%, which was ahead of everybody else, all the other guys that were below him. And so what has he done? Well, supply and demand matters. Okay, I think Terrell, as I was walking in, mentioned something about all push, no shove. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think I get the point. My point is, like, if you're someone who has something that somebody else really needs, your value goes up. There's a lot of teams, including Nebraska, who we have a good coach. But if he wasn't here, we would need one. So for me, it's the supply and the demand, and that creates value. Also, I look at what he's built since he's gotten here. Are we experiencing the typical Matt Rhule year 3 jump? November hasn't played out yet, so I can't definitively answer that up to this point. I would say no. So improvement is going from 7-6 to 8-5. Okay. Noticeable progress would be 2 wins. A jump to me is 3 wins. Like going from 7-6 to 10-3, including the bowl game, would be like a jump. I've never once mentioned 10 wins. Okay, because I refuse to talk college, except for the one time Josh Pate brought it up, and then I brought it up, and then Minnesota happened. And I was like, wait, this is why I don't bring it up. I don't think we're experiencing the Matt Rhule. Now, mathematically, it can still happen. We're not experiencing the typical Matt Rhule year 3 jump. But he's a good football coach. And right now, good football coaches are hard to find. And you need to keep them. I can't help but wonder if Matt Rhule's year 3 jump is more likely to take place in year 4. Again, we are the youngest team in the entire Big Ten Conference. Our quarterback is an underclassman. Our top 2 wide receivers statistically are underclassmen, Barney and Hunter. Our tight end is coming back. Our running back is coming back. The entire running back room is coming back. The entire defensive line, 1, 2, and 3 deep outside of Judy is coming back. Is Cunanan a senior? He's a junior. So our field goal kicker, I believe, is a junior. You got a freshman punter in Archie Wilson. You've got a coaching staff that will then have, in theory, hopefully, an entire year and offseason together in the places that they are. And I can't help but wonder if looking at year 4, because I've never said I expect Matt Rhule's team to have a year 3 jump this year. Never said it because I didn't expect it. I said I would jump for joy if it happened, but I said 8 to 9 wins consistently. To me, that's improvement. 9 wins is noticeable improvement. Okay, but a jump is an improvement of 3 wins. If we're going to talk jump or leap, like what happened at Baylor. I believe they went from 6-6 to 11-1. Temple, I think they had an improvement of 5 wins from year 2 to year 3. So my point, what I'm trying to get at is Matt Rhule's a good football coach. And I've said, I still remember the gut reaction I did the day he was hired. It was in our basement. It was way too echoey, and that still drives me nuts to this day. But I remember saying, I fully believe he's the guy that can get us back to 8, 9, 10 win type seasons on a consistent basis. I have no idea if he's the guy that can get us competing for Big Ten titles, and this was before there was 90,000 teams in a conference, and a national championship. I don't know because he's never done it. But I fully believe if you want to be successful and compete for those championships, you got to get to 8, 9, 10 wins first. You've got to make progress and go in the right direction, and it's got to be steady and it's got to be incremental. And that's why I will sit here and say anything under 8 wins is a failure of a season, because you've not gone the right direction. And it's not like you've had a tough schedule. The youngest team in the Big Ten, also the easiest schedule in the Big Ten, and there hasn't been a whole lot of teams that have popped up and been a lot better than we thought they would. Maybe Cincinnati, but it's not like we played Murderer's Row. But I do believe he's the guy that can get us back to winning 8, 9, 10 games a year. That's part two. Number one is you have a head coach in a day and age when college football is insane and so many universities are competing with each other just trying to find a good head coach, which leads to number two. We have a good head coach and a guy that I believe can get us back. Yeah, the value was created a lot by supply and demand, and that's okay. It is what it is. It's called business. This is a $1 billion business, college football is. But he's the guy, I believe, that can get us back to 8, 9, 10 wins, which leads to part three. I have no idea if he's the guy that can get us back to competing for championships year in and year out on a consistent basis. And I'll be honest with you, the barometer's even changed. Like when Osborne was coaching, it was Big 8 title, Big 12 title, national title. After that, it's been conference title, national title, or New Year's 6-day bowl game was always the goal. Now the barometer is college football playoff. It's college football playoff for so many reasons, which is why he gets $1 million bonus every time he gets us into the college football playoff, if and when that hopefully happens. And that's the part about this where I have the question mark. Is he that guy? I don't know. He's the guy we needed to retain, part one. He's the guy I believe can help us continue to improve to the next step on the ladder of success, part two. Part three is my personal question mark, and even part two is not guaranteed. I just believe that. Okay, part three, I have no idea if he's that guy that can have us in that college football playoff conversation way more often than not. And if we get in the college football playoff, can we make a run in it? Maybe not every year, but maybe a decent amount of the time that we get in. That's what I don't know. So that's kind of my three-part reaction. To sum it up, though, this needed to happen. This is a good thing. This is a good thing for Nebraska. This is a good thing for Husker football. And because if it didn't happen, it leaves so many doors open, so many questions unanswered. And in a day and age of insanity in college football, Nebraska football, for the first time in a while, has stability. When's the last time you felt like we had stability? The day Frost was hired? We felt like we had stability, like we got our guy for like what, a couple decades? Jake, is that what you'd say?
That was the hope, yeah.
Yeah, but that didn't turn out to be the case. Like, we've seen enough of Matt Rhule to have an idea of what he can do, not enough to know for sure what he can ultimately do. And I'm not saying he's Osborne, but there was a day and age, like Osborne, remember, you got to keep in mind, Big A, it was Oklahoma. That was the game. He lost his first 6 games versus Oklahoma, and people wanted him out. 1978, about went to Colorado because he got an offer. And the only reason he stayed was because he was telling recruits, this is the best place in the nation to come, so how could he leave? And you fast forward to the 91 season, they lose to Georgia Tech in the Citrus Bowl, the worst loss they'd ever had. He tells his coaches, they just won 9 games, by the way. And he's like, guys, gather your stuff. We're all going to get fired. You might as well start looking for jobs. Like, people had serious doubts. At one point, they lost 7 straight games, 7 straight bowl games before the 95 Orange Bowl, and they beat Miami for the 94 title. So there was all sorts of doubts. But here's what you got to keep in mind. For that 25-year coaching period, he had a learning curve. Now, do coaches today get 22, 23 years to figure out how to win the ultimate prize? No, they don't. But today's modernized version, plus things can turn around and they can be built quicker as well, too. So there's a little bit of that as well. It's also today's culture. It's much more gimme stuff now. I'm more impatient than I ever used to be, and I never had a lot of patience. I had a temper as a kid, you know. It's just that day and age. We want things sooner rather than later. You see other guys doing it. That creates different expectations as well. You see guys like Signetti and Dillingham doing what they are doing at Indiana and Arizona State, creates expectations. Okay. But my point is, I wonder if there could be some parallels to, hey, Osborne was a fair piece away from being a national championship head coach. He had to get over the Oklahoma hurdle, which he finally did on his 7th try. And then he had to get over this hurdle and that hurdle. And he had to learn. Like, they changed their defense. They were actually a little bit more of a passing type offense when he first took over. Obviously not so much as the years went along. But he had quarterbacks over the years where he would throw the ball quite a bit. Then the 80s and the 90s roll around and that extremely changes. So I'm curious to see the learning curve. how things evolve. If you notice, Matt Rhule's clearly learning. There are some things that are vastly different. Not even a full 3 years after he's been hired, some things are vastly different. How they recruit. I mean, I don't know if this is a big deal. I never thought I'd see him walk around with a chain, blue collar, in your face, smash mouth type coach. Now he's got a chain walking around. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's different. I'm curious the evolution of Matt Rhule as time goes on, kind of like the evolution of Osborne and the doubts that he endured. He was able to be given the time to figure it out. Now, will Rhule be given the time? Sure seems so. Will he be able to figure it out? That's the part 3 question mark as far as going beyond 8, 9, 10 wins, which we got to get to first to be clear, which is why I said 8 wins is a successful season this year, and 9 wins, I would jump for joy. But that's the part. If and when we get there, which I believe we will at some point, either this year or next year, I know next year, man, we got Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, Indiana. It's a lot tougher schedule. Hopefully we're not leaning on a weak schedule to count on wins. Hopefully we're leaning on our team is pretty good, and that's how we get wins. Because the past 2 years, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about, oh, look at the schedule. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy. Well, that just tells me you don't think a whole lot of the team yet. Next year, I want to think more of the team and say, hey, we got an opportunity to play a top-ranked Ohio State, top-ranked Indiana, which I will never get used to saying, by the way. But here it is. Some people think they should be number 1 in the country, the Hoosier Daddies. But the parallel between Osborne and Rhule, I'm not saying Rhule is Osborne. I'm not saying he has to be Osborne. He needs to be Matt Rhule. But the parallel of the learning curve. Like, there was a point in time where Osborne didn't even give scholarships to DBs. Just think about how drastically things changed during Osborne's tenure. And then you got Baron Miles covering one of the Moss boys in Montana, one of the Moss boys from Miami in that Orange Bowl. And he gets the game-winning interception, by the way, on his birthday to clinch that Tom Osborne's first national championship, a DB, a position group that didn't get scholarships for a while. So I'm curious to see. Osborne had a long runway, and he was able to figure it out. I'm curious to see, because Rhule's got the runway now. All right. How he does figuring it out as far as actually getting to 8, 9, 10 wins. And if we go beyond that, if we don't, what happens there? What are your thoughts, Jake? What does the text line think?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I forgot about that, too. Ladies and gentlemen, he has no bad news. We just love that. It's awesome. Go ahead, Jake.
You got some bad news for Penn State fans. Your native son's not returning, so he could do that. But no, I think this is incredible. I think my take on this is going to remain the same. Is not every contract extension is built the same. This one is fantastic on both Matt Rhule's end. I think it's fantastic on Troy Dannon's end as well. Somehow you're able to get this deal done with really out having to pay more as of right now. When 2031 and 2032 are going to come around, you're going to have to pay somebody. So, right now that's on the books for $12.5 million. That might not be all that expensive by the time that comes here. But that's why I say on the AD's part, this is a fantastic deal. It's an extension, but you're not adding a bunch of money to it. And that's also why I think it's really impressive for Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule could go up to the podium and say, hey, we need a $30-40 million roster. Well, if he comes back and asks for $3 million a year, more than already has, then what are you really saying, right? I mean, what are you really doing? So to me, this shows the commitment from Matt Rhule. He asked for that. I think he's getting what he wants as far as trying to compete for those type of rosters. Remember, they've got to do something to convince Matt Rhule that this is a good idea, other than guaranteeing the money. By the way, I think it's still 90% of this contract is guaranteed to him one way or the other. So it helps him. Don't get me wrong. There's more stability in $25 million down the line. So don't get me wrong there. It's a good deal there. But so that's my biggest take on this. This is a fantastic contract extension. I had kind of been approaching it thinking, I don't know, I'd wait till he kind of gets something done, make sure that this is a successful season, that you're taking that next step. They did that at the bottom line level of an acceptable season this year, is at least making a bowl. And I don't say that as far as like, what were your expectations? I say that as far as they haven't made the back-to-back bowls, obviously, in over a decade. So by definition, this is progress. So I thought this is a good time to do it. You might want to do it before the USC game, because you just don't want this to kind of linger around. Also, it's interesting that Troy Dannon had said that he first had the idea of this extension this summer, and then brought the contract kind of details, the concrete details, to Matt Rhule's people in week 3. So this is all before the Penn State stuff happened. Now, obviously, the Penn State stuff happens, and it makes it more like now it's timely. Now you got to figure out a good time to do it, and that's why I think doing it before the USC game is a good idea. Get everybody kind of focused on the same goal. You got a big recruiting weekend coming in here, and so you might get a little bounce back for people if Nebraska gets blown out this weekend. But one way or the other, again, it's not about this weekend. It's about the big picture. And the big picture is things are moving in the right direction for Matt Rhule in this program. So, that's my take is I just think this is a fantastic contract extension from both sides. For Troy Dannon, you don't have to pay a whole lot more for Nebraska in the immediate term. And for Matt Rhule, you practice what you preach, right? I'm not looking through your words and then seeing your contract negotiations say something else. Off the text line, it's kind of funny because somebody kind of pointed out, remember when Bo Pelini was making $3 million a year? How times have changed.
Yep.
So there's definitely that. A lot of people on text line love the stability. I don't see a whole lot of negativity again about it. And again, I think a big part of that is what this contract extension looks like, the details of it.
So 2 things. I know we got to go to break, but why stay on schedule? Number 1, I'm not moving the goalposts. You now just made a case for 6-6 going to a bowl game because we haven't done it back-to-back years in a long time, being the new successful season. I will not join you in that party, Jake.
I said bottom barrel.
Yeah, I said bottom of the barrel is 8 wins.
Yeah.
And part of that is the schedule we faced. Had we faced Oklahoma, Florida, Wisconsin schedule, I may have said, hey, just match what you did last year and I'd be happy, or go to a bowl game again and I'd be happy. I'm not moving my goalpost. So it sounds like you're moving your goalpost now.
I'm just saying, as a program, you take a step back. That's progress. Back, if you said 2 years ago when we're hiring Matt Rhule, you're going to make a bowl game in year 2 and year 3. You don't give me anything else. I'd say, well, that's much better than we've done the last 10 years.
We have more information now, though. That's all right. That's not the point of this. I still say at least 8 wins, even if it's 8-5. Even though I meant 8-4. I forget there's a bowl game sometimes when we're talking about things in August. Quick, some of the details of the contract, just because we haven't specifically laid those out. And part of it is it's not uber complex. Like Jake said, it doesn't start to really affect things until about, 2031, because you need that money to build the roster, which is Matt Rhule saying, I want to win. The priority is to build the roster. But I also feel like, hey, if Penn State's talking to me or whoever's talking to me, you got to reciprocate me. Here's my reciprocation to you. This is how we come to a contract extension, and this is how we create stability for the program that I'm trying to build. This is Matt Rhule talking. Adam Carricker saying these words for him. The program I'm trying to build going forward, and that appears to be what this contract extension is. Some of the details before we head to break there, Jake.
Yeah, again, it's a 2-year contract extension through 2032. Includes a $15 million buyout this year, which is the big deal. It effectively eliminates from any jobs this cycle, in the words of Pete Thamel. There is extensions, or there is incentives, and I think that's what some people like in this deal as well, is more put it on incentive side rather than automatically here's more money. Where that if he does reach the playoffs, each time he makes the playoffs, in fact, he gets $1 million raise for each year on his contract. So that's a good deal, again, I think, on both sides. But I mean, the deal remains 90% guaranteed, so there's still that. But I mean, that's pretty much the details that we have for it.
So this is good. This is a good thing. This creates a lot of stability. We haven't had stability at the University of Nebraska for quite a while. So anytime there's a really good game, that's easy. Anytime there's a bad game, hopefully not many of those going forward, there's not going to be a whole lot of fire Matt Rhule things going around, and there shouldn't be. And that's a good thing. That creates stability within a program, which helps recruiting, which helps coaches buy into what the head coach is saying. Because, hey, I know you're going to be here for years to come, and players buy in and fans buy in. It's something we've not had in a while. Something that will ultimately help this is getting some more wins as well. That helps buy in from everybody. Winning cures all. Jake and I have talked about that, or almost everything. We've talked about it a million times. But stability at the University of program with a good head football coach. Is he great? Hey, that's what he's got to prove as the years go along. But for right now, we've got stability with a good head football coach here at the University of Nebraska. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at HamiltonIsBusiness.com.
There's always a new experience to be had at Arbor Day Farm in Nebraska City. From events, adventures, wine tastings, or the Discovery Ride, you can never get tired of seeing what the property has to offer. Make a weekend out of it by staying at the Lead Lodge and enhance your stay with their special packages that include luxurious treatment. Learn more or book your adventure today online at arbordayfarm.org.
When your home fills up with family, Aloe Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Aloe Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Aloe at 866-481-2556 or visit aloefiber.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Copple Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Copple is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Copple Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at copplecars.com.
Are you familiar with everything the Lincoln Children's Museum offers? Camps, field trips, and game day playdates are just a few of the extraordinary programs provided by the Lincoln Children's Museum. When you spend a day with your family at the Lincoln Children's Museum, your child's mind can explore while enjoying the many interactive exhibits they have, while keeping admission prices extremely affordable. Stop by the Lincoln Children's Museum today in downtown Lincoln, or visit them online for more information at lincolnchildrensmuseum.org.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com. Shuizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Shuizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at shuizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Baumgars is hosting a ladies' night this Sunday from 5 to 8 p.m. Stop into your local Baumgars store for a special shopping event. Ladies will receive a 20% off discount from regular price on their purchases and can enter to win gift cards. Plus, a portion of the evening's proceeds will be donated to local cancer centers, hospitals, and women's shelters. So mark your calendar for the Baumgars Ladies' Night this Sunday from 5 to 8 p.m. We hope to see you there.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Adam Carricker Show here at 93.7 The Ticket. Got some notes here from the press conference. Matt Rhule says extremely grateful to Nebraska, and he wants to bring Nebraska back where it belongs. Says this group of guys helped him find his love of football again. Now, being a head coach in today's college football, I've said before, it's not a job that I get jealous or envious of. With everything that goes into it, it is, and now you're basically, I mean, you're a head football coach, but you're basically a CEO of a company is what you are. And there's so many things that go into being a college football coach now. Ryan Day said before the season last year, when they won the national title, obviously their DC went to Penn State, but Chip Kelly was their OC. He's like, basically, I handed all the football stuff over to the coordinators, and I became a fundraiser, recruiting funds so we could pay the guys that were on our team who were going to go to the NFL to retain them. And there are so many things about the hours of recruiting and transfer portal guys coming and going and constantly coaches coming and going. Nebraska had basically the same coaching staff for like 3+ decades at one point. Penn State, before the Sandusky thing, like it was like almost 40 years there. I remember Oregon was considered young under Bellotti, and most of their coaches had been there for 20 years at that point in time. I'm talking back to like late 90s, early 2000s right now. But things are so different. Oh, coordinator left. Okay, no big deal. Oh, coach is gone. All right, well, what else is new? 15 players at the transfer portal. All right, we'll bring in 16 guys. You know, whatever. Like, this is just commonplace now. You have any idea how insane it would be to try to run a company when you got 15 new employees and 3 new bosses, and you got to fire this guy and you got to find a replacement for that guy? It'd be crazy. And then, oh, by the way, I got to recruit all these new guys to come in, and I got to retain my current workers, and I got to recruit new workers, and then these workers go, so I got to fill them with transfer portal workers. Like, it's challenging. And I did love Rhule's honesty at points coming into the season when he flat out called last year's team whiny. Like, oh my gosh, like at some point, this job is going to be hard for somebody. And I've had Dannon look me in the eye and say he loves it. And I have looked him back in the eye and smiled and said, I believe you about 50.1% of me because it's Matt Rhule. But any normal human being, this is going to be hard. Like, this just being a human being is going to be a human being, and that's going to be challenging. He said, let me read that again. This group of guys helped him find his love for football again. He has said multiple times throughout the offseason, I know, the whole entitlement thing after Minnesota, et cetera, et cetera. But beyond that, he has said multiple times how he loves this particular group of players because of who they are, how they are. And I will tell you from interviewing them, they have a genuine love for each other. People are going to say the right things all the time. They're going to say the things that they're supposed to say. I love my quarterback. I like this guy. This guy's my teammate. Like, there's a difference between saying it and meaning it. And when I talk to these guys, Ja'Cory Barney was like, hey, first guy I'm invited to my wedding is Dylan Raiola. Like, Isaiah Hunter, the other, I'm a ride with that guy. Like, the way they worded, how they say, like, there's genuinely a unique bond within this team. I will go so far as to point this out. O-linemen and D-linemen aren't always the best of friends. Are you aware of this?
I've heard.
You heard? I have seen at high school football games, Nebraska offensive and defensive linemen sitting right there next to each other like they're best friends. I don't think that would have ever happened. As close-knit as my team was, I don't think we were that close-knit. We just weren't. Like, I wasn't going to sit right there with Richie or Leiden or Patrick or any of these guys. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like you're my teammate. You know, I remember there was an incident one time and somebody had to come to somebody's back, and it was an offensive guy helping a defensive guy, and he did it without hesitation. It was a bit of an extreme situation. Like, yes, but as far as just chilling and hanging all the time, hey, man, that's a unique thing, and that's pretty cool. Honestly, it's something I wish we could have had more of when it came to offensive, defensive line or things across. It was, again, we weren't like enemies or anything. We were teammates. We had each other's backs, but a natural bond between positions that compete daily when you're trying to destroy each other physically each and every day in practice. It's a challenging thing to have. Doesn't mean there's animosity. Doesn't mean it's always, best of bud time afterwards either. So I think there's a lot to be said and a lot, I don't want to gloss over that, which is why I'm reading it for a third time. This group of guys helped him find his love for football again. And I think that matters to Matt Rhule. And that factors into, hey, You ain't got to give me some ridiculous buyout. You ain't got to give me a ridiculous amount of money. Let's do the bare minimum of what makes a good extension, and let's prioritize everything else for this program and this team and building a successful winning program and team for the state going forward. It kind of, in a weird way, reminds me of Brady-esque. Like, Brady was never, I mean, the guy was never short for money, plus who he was married to was making plenty of money at the time, but he was never one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. It was always put that money back into the team. I want to throw to Gronk. I want to throw to Moss. I want to throw to Edelman. I want to throw to these guys, build this team. And a lot of those teams had great defenses, especially early on. So it kind of reminds me of that to a degree. All right. As a former Husker and NFL player, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration recovery start at home. That's why you should team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, add a Culligan reverse osmosis, bottled quality water right at your tap, ladies and gentlemen. Great taste, and it's certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln. Water you love, go Big Red. All right, let me look through the rest of these notes from the press conference. College football is changing, and it's do or die time. Shoot, tell me about it. Not tell me about it, but if you got your eyes open to what's going on in college football, it is beyond obvious. It is do or die time. And he called Nebraska his home. And you get that feeling. You truly get that feeling. Couldn't imagine telling his kids they won't be going to the Nebraska volleyball match or other Husker events. All right. He has left too many other teams and too many other guys. And he did say something on a Pat McAfee show a couple weeks ago. He goes, I've never stayed anywhere long enough to see it, how it plays out. And I was like, first of all, I pointed that out 5,000 times. But number two, that matters to him. At some point, he's going to want to find a place. And this isn't a guy who's probably going to be coaching forever. All right. I'm not saying he's old or anything, but he's like, I'm looking at him. I'm like, at a certain point, he's going to want to build something up. Then he proceeded to talk about how we have the youngest team in the Big Ten, the very next breath. And he's going to want to see how it plays out and see it through. And so I think that plays a factor here. When his name came out for other jobs, he immediately called recruits and told them he wasn't going anywhere. Nebraska football needs stability and investment. Said he signed this morning. All right. Sad it leaked out last night. I was telling Jake, when I was walking away from the stadium on Saturday and I had someone mention it to me, I was like, hey, can I say anything? They're like, we'd rather you not. Okay, I'll hold on to it. Our 2027 class is going to kill. He says the team has been dialed in all week. Troy Dannon, I think you mentioned this, the first round of the offer extension came around week 3. So again, that was pre-James Franklin and Penn State. Any final thoughts, anything off the text line there, Jake, you want to dive into real quick?
Well, I think, again, looking into the bigger picture of this is there's a few things that are working in Nebraska's favor. First of all, I said, I've been saying all along, this is a very much a team-friendly deal, if you want to put it that way. But when Matt Rhule was hired, the one job that I was worried about was Penn State. And now that this one it's been worked around, I think you can breathe easier as a whole about Matt Rhule, not just leaving for Penn State, but leaving anywhere. The other part of that is, he knows where this is in the process. So if Nebraska does end up being a perennial 10, 11 win team, I think you have more faith that he might also appreciate Nebraska believing in him along the way. So again, I think those are two things that make a lot of sense. The other thing too is, with that Penn State job and all the expectations that would be put on that, and we've said this from the beginning, if he went to Penn State, the expectation would be crazy there. If he did what James Franklin did at Penn State, he'd be fired in 12 years, right? If he did what James Franklin did at Penn State, Nebraska, we're going to build a statue for him pretty much. So, I think he feels like he's in a good spot to kind of bring this along. In Nebraska, again, feels like they've got the right guy in place, and for continuity's sake, again, you can break down the problems and the Minnesota game and all that. But you've got, Dylan Rhule is just a sophomore. You've got 3 coordinators, in fact, that I could put in this category because of how impactful the special teams unit has been in their first year. There is a lot of upside beyond just this week for this program. But, for a lot of people too, that maybe are looking on the opposite side. Somebody said, he has not won in November here. I want to see some wins in November. So there's still a lot of work to be done, and we'll figure out how good this contract extension really is by the remainder of the season. But again, to me, I don't even need that because of how well this was worked out. Because it's not costing Nebraska an arm and a leg in next year, this year, a couple of years from now. It's just further extending his deal.
I think when you think about the young talent that's here, the young talent that's coming, look at our quarterback room from Dylan, regardless of how you think how he's played so far this year, to TJ. My goodness, that's exciting. And then Trey Taylor is rolling into the playoffs after another 400 plus passing yard performance. All right, let's see. And then it says Nayland Scott 70-yard touchdown at Rex Waterman, Hamilton High School remained perfect. All right, so but if you've been following Trey at all this season, like first of all, he shot up. He's clearly spent a little bit of time in the weight room, continue to do so. The dude's going to be, if he's not, is he a 5-star yet? If he's not, he's going to be. Like that quarterback room, which is kind of important. And then the coordinators you've got. Now you got to work on retaining people and things of that nature. That's part of today's day and age, but you got to start with them before you have to worry about retaining them. Again, I'm not going to sit here. Yeah, you got to start doing some things you haven't done. You got to start winning in November. You got to start beating ranked teams. You got to start beating Power 4 teams with ranked records a lot more often. Like all that's got to start happening. But it starts with stability instead of never-ending unpredictability, which creates a nonstop uncertainty, which is going to, there's no bedrock to the program because it's like a waterbed, just constantly moving. There's no stability to that. Now it's stable. For the time being, we have stability in the program. A couple other things that occurred to me, because Osborne did a lot of great things for a long time. To me, he's the GOAT. You look at and even this year, I'm not going to use this year's schedule, but our typical Big Ten schedule going forward, winning 8, 9, 10 games is, it's probably more challenging than it was in the old Big 8. Now, let's be honest, the 9-win season was considered a failure. Like Nebraska needed to win 10, 11, 12 for it to be a success. For us to get to 8, 9, 10 wins versus our typical schedule outside of this year and even last year, so to speak, starting with next year, it's going to be a lot harder. And again, I come back to Penn State, LSU, Florida. That Penn State job, if I was a coach, I wouldn't want it. I'm sorry. I said if I got a family and I got kids, I don't think so. If I'm a single young bachelor type coach and I don't mind moving 15,000 times, okay, cool. But you better come in and compete for a national title right away. Now, Tom Hannafin, the Penn State insider who joined us a couple of weeks ago, did say their roster is not going to be as good next year, so the expectations will be tempered a little bit. But still, they just fired a guy who won a conference championship, took you to one play from the national title, and did all these things. The expectations there are not something that I would find realistic. It's something that used to be held against Nebraska. It's almost like we flip-flopped on that. So you're welcome, Nittany Lions. I look at Florida and I'm like, they've gone through so many coaches. At a certain point, they've got to look around and say, you know what, we got to give a guy some time. And I can't help but wonder if that's the next coach. They never really wanted Billy Napier to begin with. That didn't help him. It was almost like Riley when he got here. People were like, I don't know if you're our guy. Boom, instantly your honeymoon period is shortened right there. So I think the next coach of Florida might have a little bit more runway, a little bit of a longer honeymoon period. I still think that LSU job, like it's right there. All you got to do is come in, make sure you bring in a couple of your guys who you are seen as the head coach and not just a name and a face that happens to be at the head of the program that was built by other people. But it's like ready-made. You got a roster, you got NIL, you got recruiting grounds, you've got people who have helped build up that program. Again, I didn't report it. Brian Kelly was on the beach on major recruiting days, which means other people helped build up that thing as much or more than any other program in the country. It is ready-made. So as far as University of Nebraska, this is a good day. This is something that needed to happen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schweisow.com.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
I can't believe I just scratched that card. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Bonsall Pool and Spa's annual Spooktacular sale is here. Now through November 1st, get an extra $1,000 off hot tubs at an already low sale price and get $500 off the already low sale prices on infrared and traditional saunas. All hot tub water care products and accessories are also for sale for the Spooktacular sale, now through November 1st at Bonsall Pool and Spa at 33rd and Highway 2. Call for more info at 402-488-0148 or visit bonsallpool.com. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some more breaking news. Big time news, Jake. Let the folks know.
Yeah, that's right. The University of Nebraska, or Nebraska football on Twitter, in fact, just tweeted out that the end zones and the midfield logo will be, in fact, painted black for the blackout this weekend. So they're leaning all into it, and I absolutely love it.
I was like, why haven't you just done this already? Like, if they have changed the flags, that even the pregame notes that they give the media, it's all black. Volleyball's all black. Like, all this stuff is all black. I'm like, why not just? And I said this, and tell the folks what you said to me during the break when I said this to you. I said the only thing that's missing is the skull and crossbones, that logo at midfield. Tell them why you think they're not going to do it, though.
Well, unfortunately, I do. I think they've leaned all the way into the blackout as much as they can, but they're kind of separating it from the black shirts. And I think that is potentially because they've done, they've leaned into these blackouts before. I shouldn't say leaned in. That's why I'm happy they're doing it now. But they've done these blackouts before. I think they did one against UCLA, 12 years ago now with the black shirt uniforms. They gave up 44 points. So I think there's a little bit of, hey, let's not go all in on the defensive side of the ball, particularly when you got the number one offense in the nation coming in this week. To me, maybe that's when you lean most into it. Maybe that's when you really get excited about it. I'm still kind of looking at it through a black shirt lens because I think that's the only way it makes sense. But I think they're being a little bit strategic with that.
I get it. But Rhule even said, who deserves to wear black jerseys more than us? Now, he didn't say the why, but we all know the why. It's because of the black shirts. So, all right. So I sent you 5 clips, and then, the little thing happens. The Rhule signs an extension, gives stability to the Nebraska football program. So we're going to, and then the news broke about the black end zones and everything else. Let's hold on to those 5 clips for tomorrow. One of them is Joel Klatt kind of going in on why Texas is rated ahead of Iowa, which they shouldn't be. And then Rebecca Alec, Matt Rhule's. Can we roll Matt Rhule's halftime speech, actually, from the last game? Because that's pretty short, and it just seems apropos on a day like this. And then we'll save the other 4 clips for tomorrow. You got Dylan Rhule talking about the USC game, and this is a do-over, and Dana Holgerson, what he expects and hopes to see from the crowd. Like, tune into tomorrow. Basically, tomorrow is even more stacked and loaded than normal. But let's roll that Matt Rhule halftime clip. I like that one.
I said I wasn't going to mention the score, but I feel like God telling me I got to. Because you know what? It's the same score as it was last week at halftime. The fight hasn't even started yet. We're running people over. We're bringing winning the physical battle. That's just right.
I love that. And that was halftime of Northwestern. If you didn't realize that, it was 7-6, 6 or 7, just like it was the week before at Minnesota. This thing keeps growing everywhere. 6, it just won't die. If you don't know what it is, God bless you. All right. I have 6 kids, and it's like, I see it like 60, 70 times a day. Everything turns into a 6 or 7 joke with them, but I love that halftime speech. I don't know how we got off onto that. It's supposed to be about Rhule's halftime speech. I apologize, me and my random dialogues and diatribes that don't mean anything. But it was a great halftime speech, and it's funny because I'm not big. When I coach, I'm pointing out the score. But when it's the same exact score, after what had just happened at Minnesota, how do you not bring that up? And, man, his halftime speeches, his pregame speeches, the dude's a motivator. The things that make up a good coach, in no particular order, because I'm coming off the top of my head with this, but I've known this for years. You got to be able to recruit. You got to be able to motivate. You got to be able to develop. You got to be able to have X's and O's, and you got to be able to do in-game adjustments. The man nails a lot of those. Other things, I'm still waiting to see how they kind of progress. Okay, where are we at with development, in-game adjustments as time goes along? But when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to motivating and some of the things that go into being a head coach. And now there's about 5,000 more things being a CEO of a company, which is what a college football D1 FBS head coach is. There's so many more things that go into it, but the 5 main things, relationships with players, man, he nails that one too, if you want to throw a 6th one in there as well. So he nails so many of those things. I want to see us nail it on the scoreboard more often in November, starting on Saturday. The number 1 passing offense in the country, the number 1 total offense in the country. Lincoln Riley has produced almost 50% of the Heisman Trophy winners and number 1 overall NFL draft picks in the past 8 years. Almost 50% have come from one guy, and that guy's going to be on Memorial Stadium's turf on Saturday. And I can't wait to talk about it tomorrow. I can't wait for the game. Before we get out of here, though, shout out again to Suizo Construction. The Adam Carricker Show is sponsored by Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Again, that's Suizo Construction at Suizo.com, SCHWISOW.com. Also, shout out to Hamilton Telecommunications. They are bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at hamiltontel.com. That's hamiltontel.com. And because they are still student athletes, let me see. I know. We got to get out of here, Jake. The Nebraska football program GPA on average has been 3.304. Yeah, there it is. Academically, Rhule's program has achieved a high level following the 2025 spring semester. The cumulative grade point average of the Nebraska football team was 3.304, the highest in the history of the program. I mean, it still is student athletes, right? We can at least pretend, hey, that's pretty awesome. Go, Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bones.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer.
Mmm.
Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that?